Hello, hey guys, and welcome back to the M&M update. This is episode 3, and we are 4 weeks out from the BNBF Finals. We are 3 weeks out.
3 weeks out
from the BNBF Finals. Fuck.
I was just like, oh my god, am I actually 4 weeks out? What the fuck am I doing cardio for now?
Oh no. Okay, yes, we're 3 weeks out. Jesus Christ, getting confused with numbers. We are 3 weeks out. It's 3 weeks out this weekend. So 2 weeks until peak week, which is what I thought about the other day. I'm getting all confused. The reason I'm getting confused is because I've qualified for the UK DFBA and I've got about 4 million numbers trying to roll around in my head. In reality, it's only 2 numbers, but 2 numbers is too much for someone that's contest prep dieting. So that was a cool introduction. So hey guys, welcome back. This is AJ Morris, and you're joined by obviously Vicky Masita as well, the Tiny Tyson, and we're going to be discussing our week, how I've developed some sort of memory loss, and of course how we're approaching our contest prep diets at this phase in the process. So we started with myself last week, so Vicky rolled through obviously what my plans were for my peaking process and for my UK DFBA qualifier, which, as you will have known if you followed me, went very, very well, and I'll discuss that, obviously, in my portion of the update. But first off, we're going to give the limelight to Vicky, and we're going to see how her week has gone. So, Vicky, how are you, and how are things going?
Right, so 3 weeks out, obviously this week, we introduced some more cardio this week. Not a lot, and it was just a trial to see if it was actually going to cause any kind of impact on my physique at all. So so I had a big refeed on Saturday, which was really lovely. Okay. Just added in some more carbs and that kind of thing, which is great. And then on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I just started doing some low impact cycling. So just first thing in the morning, 'cause it's the only time that I can fit my cardio in anyway, is first thing. I don't do it fasted because all the bros say that you should do fasted cardio. I just do it in the morning because it's when I can fit it in. So that's when I did that. So I did just 40 minutes of list cardio, and actually it dialed in my legs really, really well when I checked in on Wednesday. Yeah, my quads were looking really nice, actually. So I was quite pleased with that. So we've kept that in. Other than that, food didn't change. Food this week, or just recently, I'm actually just trying to dial in my midsection a little bit now, because for some unknown reason, everything's coming in, but my midsection still seems to be fairly blocky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very strange, really.
It's always been a stubborn area.
No, not really, to be honest. The only thing that I can kind of think about with it being blocky is just the way that I'm genetically made.
Pregnancy?
Pregnancy doesn't really seem to make that much of a difference to having a blocky waist.
Okay.
As in, like, the straight up and down thing.
Right.
Because obviously you grow outwards rather than, as in, like, front ways outwards, rather
you grow
than
like Kai Green rather than...
Yeah, exactly. You know, that barrel kind of look. Exactly. So you grow in that regard, but I just want to dial it in a little bit more. I mean, I've obviously been told that I need to just kind of flare my lats a little bit more, and that'll give me the illusion of having a narrower waist, which is great.
Yes.
But for my class athletic anyway, you know, we don't have that natural shape. It's not supposed to be about shape. So right. I'm in the right category and things. I just need to dial in my waist just that little bit more. So what we've decided to do is I've started to trial just 2 lower days. They're certainly not low, but 2 lower days and then a big refeed, and then again back down to 2 low days and then a big refeed.
Sounds quite similar to me in a sense, except I'm doing it a bit different. But yeah, sounds quite similar.
Yeah, okay, so that's good. So I'm literally just manipulating carbs in that way.
A form of carb cycling, correct?
A form of carb cycling, that is exactly true.
Yes. How are you finding this mentally?
Oh, yesterday was my first low day, and if I'm completely honest with you, I really did not like it.
Talk us through the numbers. People love knowing numbers. By the way, do not ever listen to our numbers and think this will work for you. Do not look at Vicky and think, oh, I'm the same weight as Vicky, I can eat that, because I'm literally telling you right now, You fucking won't be able to. Why won't you be able to? Because there's a very, and I'm not trying to offend any listeners here, but there is a very minimal chance you train as hard as Vicky, especially if you're a female at her body weight. I'm just saying that, but you can now unsubscribe from the podcast if you really want. But,
exactly.
Vicky trains disgustingly hard. She'd probably out-train me on a few things. I reckon we'd be pretty close, but she's got some fucking disgusting mindset. Anyway, continue. What were the low days?
I do. I'm pretty fucking mental when it comes to the gym, to be perfectly honest. However, okay, so moving on to low days. So my normal intake, I'm on about 2,500 calories on my normal days. Okay. I went down to, I think it works out to about 1,900. Yeah. So I'm on about 260 grams of carbs, about 47 grams of fats, and about 180 grams of protein on my normal intake days. Protein and fats stay the same on my lower days, but all I do is I just reduce my carbs and they go down to approximately 170.
Okay.
So
low.
Yeah,
it's a bit odd.
It really did, because I didn't really manipulate that much. I just took out 2 rice meals and 1 meal of oats, right. Because it was just easy to manipulate in that regard, and I don't want to think about a lot. So yesterday, I think just kind of going into the day, I was like, that shit, man, I'm not going to have any rice later on, and mentally you're just setting yourself up for that kind of, it's going to be a bad day, and this, that, and the other. But I think the other thing is that I haven't slept well at all this week.
You've been getting up really early, right?
Like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the other day, I'm going to bed at like 9:30, trying to fall asleep by 10, and then waking up at 2.
Do you when you fall asleep at 9:30 and then get up at 3? Are you sleeping from 9:30 to 3, or is it intermittent?
I'm kind of sleeping from about 9:30 to 10 o'clock until 2 in the morning, and then tossing and turning for an hour until thinking, do you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to get up.
Man. But it's so irritating.
It really is, but it only actually started happening since I introduced that 40 minutes worth of cardio.
Oh, right, interesting. Okay.
So Sunday night I was fine. Monday night, that was the first night where I kind of got up early. I was like, oh shit. And then Tuesday, that happened again. So I was like, okay, so maybe it's because of the fact that I've sent myself into just maybe too much of a deficit, or and that's the reason why it's kind of affected my sleep just that little bit more. Okay. But I'd much rather kind of not take any more food away, because that is going to impact on my physique if I do that. So I'd much rather just have the cardio element in. So what I did last night actually was that I did actually take 2 ZMAs, whereas the other day I only took 1, and that didn't help at all. And I did wake up still at 3 o'clock,
but you slept till then.
I slept all the way through till then, and then I got up, went for your notorious middle of the night pee, because, we drink so much. Oh, yeah. And then I actually managed to go back to sleep until my alarm went off at 5:15.
Oh, so, great.
To be fair, I had a really good night's sleep last night, and I feel a hell of a lot better now.
I bet you feel so good.
No, just that extra couple of hours, it makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Which is ace. So, I'm really happy on that. So obviously I just carried on, did my cardio this morning, and I had a good session of cardio this morning. Went and did some physio, which, by the way, guys, sports therapy is really, really important. Getting deep tissue massages and foam rolling if you can't afford a guy to come and pummel you. Really think about doing that, especially when you're in prep. You've got to look after your muscles. I've been having sports therapy on this messed up hamstring and a torn glute for the last kind of 4 months, and it's still obviously giving me a bit of jip, so I'm all strapped up and everything now, but the amount of work that my guy Tom is doing on it is just extraordinary. So don't take it for granted. Do your stretching, do your foam rolling, do everything else like you need to do. Don't kind of think, oh, I don't have time for it. You do. Make time for it. Time for it.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I'm going to be training delts later on, which I'm really excited about, because I'm going to have my chippies pre-delt meal. Get on with the chippies. So I'll be doing that, and then hitting a good shoulder session before carrying on with some more updates from clients.
Cool. Is it a low day today or a high day? What's things looking like at the moment? Or is it a normal day?
No, it's another low day today, and then refeed tomorrow, so we'll just kind of see how things pan out from there. I'm hoping for lots more chippies tomorrow.
And how are you structuring these sort of high versus low days? Is it purely a structure and you're like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm doing this week. This is low, low, high, low, low, high. That is it? Or do you respond to how you're looking and auto-regulate whether you're putting in more low days or more high days, etc.? Like, how are you setting up your week?
Yeah, definitely going to auto-regulate it based on how I look. Okay. I need to pay a little bit of attention to the scales because my scale weight is really low at the minute. I'm weighing in at 103 pounds.
Okay. And what was your stage weight at the Midlands?
104.4.
Right, okay, so a little bit less, right.
Cool. Yeah, so a little bit less, so which is good because I want to kind of come in a little bit tighter.
Of course. But a pound makes a huge difference.
Oh, huge, you know. I mean, I look so much different just from being 103 pound at the minute.
Yeah.
And being 104, sorry, I was 104.8 on stage. So it's nearly £2 off. But even though people kind of go, oh, I've only lost £2 this week, you know, in like the general scheme of things, that's massive. And when you're this lean, you can really see everything. I mean, the teardrops that are coming through in my quads now are just like slightly insane.
Yeah. So
and I don't know if, and I know we talked about it and took the piss out of it a little bit, but you know, when you actually feel your quads, I feel physically hard now.
Yeah, I know.
So, but one of the downsides about what I have been doing this week, I have found is that my skin's really dry.
Oh, yeah,
really dry. So
I find my skin gets dry when I'm on a really low fat intake, and my fats are absurdly low right now. They're as low as I can take them. Yeah, 30 grams on a high day, 35 grams on a low day.
God, that's lower than me.
Yeah, basically, my calories versus your calories, Vic, not much fucking different, to be honest. Apart from my high days are probably a bit higher than yours. So my high days are like 2,700 calories, like 450 carb, and my macros are probably more. I have a huge preference for carbohydrates, like we talked about in the last video. So my carbohydrates are higher than yours on low days, but my protein's slightly lower. So I've just, you know, I've always been a guy that's sort of quite low protein. I'm not low protein. I'm just on the lower end of the protein. Or the lowest end of the protein. Yeah. We've got a crazy dog in the background.
Yeah, sorry.
So yes, that's awesome. Obviously, in terms of like where you're at the moment, the goal is to obviously bring the best combination of your overall condition with fullness that obviously beats the Midlands package slightly. And how, like, at the moment, do you feel like, from a mentality point of view, just as a final topic for your update, like, how do you feel mentally? Obviously, one big thing that happened this week is that the entries got released. So the closing date for the actual competition, besides anyone that decides to enter late and pay a late entry fee, has been released. So we pretty much know who we're competing against now, guys. So I know I'm up against 9 other very talented juniors, and Vicky's up against 9 other athletic girls.
Yeah, that's right.
So how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel mentally?
I think I keep on telling myself competition is healthy, and good competition is something that you really, really want to get. Yes. I'm not doing the stalking of the Facebook photo things and that kind of thing, because that will just completely and utterly throw me out. Just
to really, really interrupt on that point. When we got to the UKDFBA, me and Jack were obviously like on like waiting around. We got the entry, we got the sort of the pamphlet with the pamphlet. The what's it called? The show day.
The show guide.
Yeah, the show guide. The pamphlet. Fuck me. And it says obviously the names of the competitors in the pamphlet. And one guy who we were just standing around with, chatting with, was a physique guy, and all I saw was him with the leaflet, just with his phone like this, and I could just tell by his face exactly what he was doing. I knew exactly what that lad was doing. And I looked at him and I just said, mate, do yourself a favour, do not do that now. Stop. Yeah. Put that phone away and just focus on what you're doing, what meals you're eating, like whatever you need to do, because the minute you show day, I think something that I've learnt this year, I respond and I do my best performances when I have laser focus. Like, so I think now, even like what you're just about to move on to most likely is the fact that we perform our best and we do our best results when we're just focusing on what we can do to be better, not what anyone else is doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And I think one of the biggest things with that is that was one of the biggest mistakes that I did in 2015, to be honest, is that I was comparing myself to everybody else who was going to be on that stage. And you can completely mindfuck yourself if that is the case and just think, oh, Jesus, you know, and this, I'm not going to do well. And look how good that girl looks and look how good that guy looks. And this one's got striated quads and all the rest of it. And it's just like, it really just is not worth stressing yourself out, because stress has an impact on your physique as well.
Oh, massively, yeah.
You know, so what I've just started doing recently is I looked at the entries. I was like, okay, there's like 10 people in my class. That's great. Sure. I'm just getting normal final stage nerves, and just kind of crapping myself in that regard. But I'm not crapping myself because of me stalking other people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, I'm crapping myself because I want to do so well, so badly, that sometimes that does play to my detriment. Yeah. Because I'm there stressing myself out thinking, I need to do well, when actually I just need to take a step back and just go, do you know what, Vic, just chill the fuck out and just enjoy the last 3 weeks, you know, and take every day as it comes.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, we're not scared to share our goals. I know that, you know, both our goals involve getting invites to the best of the best and trying to compete at a world final this year in whatever federation we managed to make it through to. That's like, to be honest, like if you're following the Natty scene, that's where we want to take it. Like that's where like we want to fucking take it all the way, and that's what we're all about. So, but now, you know, with 3 weeks left, it's. I was talking to Jack Thorburn last night. He'll probably listen to this. And
hi Jack.
And hi Jack, you shredder. Hope you're enjoying your jam. And your Stairmaster.
Oh, what a bad combination. Stairmaster have jam.
Yeah, he probably has jam on the Stairmaster, doesn't he? He's probably spreading his bagel on the Stairmaster.
Yeah. On level 11.
On level 11. Yeah, no hand screw. Yes, I was talking to him and I was like, mate, it'll be like a blink of the eye and we'll be on stage. This week for me, like, just to, you know, briefly touch on me before you ask me any questions, has gone so fast, but I tell you what, like I was going to tell you how I feel before we started recording. Man, like the weird, I've just been feeling really weird this week, like just hella odd. I don't know whether it's mild anxiety or something like that, but I felt like my head was just like all over the shop, like just a mix of like a good thing. I was just so excited that my head just couldn't contemplate quite what was going on. So I remember, like, usually I'll go on my like morning or evening walks and my head, I'll have really good clarity. And I'll just be able to like listen to my podcast or just chill out. But this week, every time I've gone on a walk, and to be fair, this morning was the first walk that it's completely gone, and then I feel just back to my normal self. Every morning, I was like, in my head, I was just thinking, what am I going to do? How much do my scale weight need to drop? Okay, so I've got 3 leg workouts until the BNBF Finals. Okay, and then I've got 6 until the UKDFBA. And then if I do the next one after that, then I've got 8 after that. And then if I do that, then... But what if I book this? And then, oh my God, my head was just rushing. And it was a really horrible feeling. Like you almost feel sick because you're trying to deal with so much going on in your head. And I think this is a very normal prep feel, to feel anxiety and to feel like the whole countdown process. And I think that's why some people generally struggle with sleep, is because when they go to bed, their mind is just rushing with fitness, it's rushing with physique, it's rushing with am I good enough, it's rushing with, hence why I just to cover my sleep, I am sleeping unreal good, which I'm so happy about. Like I think the introduction 1 of Sedame is good. first off, I'm not getting any wacky dreams, and I'm just sleeping. I sleep all the way from about 10:30 at night until 5:30 in the morning. Nice. And I wake up at exactly 2 a.m., which is very odd, exactly 2 a.m., and go to the toilet. That's when my urine clock wakes me up. Wow, that's weird. And then when I get back into bed, I get back into bed and I just fall asleep. 2 big revelations, or 3, besides the ZMA, is the sleep goggles. An episode of Power on Netflix, so that I'm completely outside of fitness for a bit. Just completely I pretend I'm not even in prep anymore. I just sit down and watch Power. That's it. And I take my mind off prep, and that's key. And then the third thing is, this is a absolute revelation. You might want to try it, Vicky, and listeners, you might want to try it if you're struggling with sleep. For me, I need complete darkness, and I also need complete silence. So I got them off Amazon. I got like a pack of 100 earbuds. So you twist them in your ears, blocks out all noise, and I can't hear a thing, and that makes me like jaded as fuck. Like, nice. I feel really like, when I get into bed, I feel wobbly. I feel like I'm literally just about to pass out. I hit the hay and I'm just gone like a light bulb. So that's pro tips, guys. Like, that's a sleep revelation. I can't wait to take that into my off season, because I reckon I'll fucking sleep like 9 hours, 10 hours a night. now I'm only sleeping like 6.5, but to be honest, that's all your body really needs when you're like, you're just killing it in prep. Like, you can kill it. It's so cool how much work you can kill off as well when you get up at like 5:30.
Oh, like, right, exactly. You can do like 6 check-ins.
Work.
I know.
Yeah, I've done like half my check-ins by like 7 a.m. or something. I've done like 2 programs, and like in an off season, I wouldn't even be fucking awake by then. I'd be in the bed, like asleep. But you grow more when you do that. So
yeah, you do.
So yeah, and quickly, obviously, Vicky, is there? Well, not quickly, but questions you wanted to ask me about my week. Obviously, I've covered sort of mentality-wise and sleep, but is there anything else that you wanted to sort of ask me?
So let's go on to your cardio then, because you've switched up from the bike of Power, so you've protected some bruises on your ass now, and your coccyx is feeling a hell of a lot better, and you've switched that up to the Power Walks, right?
Yes.
So Power Walks are really lovely, and I don't know if you remember, I hope you do, but I remember in 2015 when we were prepping together, and I was like, AJ, I've just done my walk in like 33 minutes. Trying to beat the time on the Power Walk, which is the same. Competitive. Yeah, it's weird, right? So yeah, you switched that up. Now, did you find that that's actually taking anything away from your leg days, or you're getting sore or anything like that in comparison to the bike?
Oh, in comparison to the bike, it's made my leg days 10 times better.
Yeah.
Because the bike was fatiguing my legs. The Stairmaster was fatiguing my legs. Oh. The hit that I was doing was fatiguing my legs and fucking me up. So the Power Walks are fucking amazing. They don't fatigue you, but they're intense enough to get your heart rate into that sort of fat burning zone. And they're also, if you're clever about them and you do the bro science side of things with regards to a little minor contraction in your glutes and hamstrings when you're walking.
So the pigeon walk.
Fuck it. Like Flex Lewis once said it in an interview. He was like, I mean, it's totally bullshit. It's not totally bullshit, but there might be some science behind it. There might not be. But he said in an interview once, he was like, someone asked him, how do you dial in your glutes? And he was like, Power Walks.
Yeah.
And I squeeze my glutes, like, with most steps that I take. It's pretty... And one thing that I do think there's actually science behind that, besides bro science, because I like to think that I'm like maybe 60, maybe like 20%, 30% bro.
Yeah.
So
gotta have a little bit of bro in you.
Yeah, gotta have some bro in you. I think the science behind that would be that if you are trying to consciously contract your glutes or hamstrings in a power walk, your heart rate will most likely be higher, and you'll probably burn more calories in the entire walk. If you're doing a 40-minute walk, I guarantee you, if you try to do it, it's harder. So if it's harder, you're probably burning more calories. So you're probably getting... And I think a lot of people who potentially probably do still get shredded over time, but I think a lot of people don't put enough intensity into their cardio and don't treat it with the intent that they should. If you're walking for your cardio, you should be aiming to get your heart rate up, and you should be aiming by the end of your cardio not to be in bits, because I'm not, because I'm fit enough to probably handle like an hour power walk and be absolutely fine, but because I'm fit in contest prep. But if I was to go on that power walk in an off season when I'm not fit, I'd be fucked. I'd be out of breath because there is a decent intensity to it. So yeah, instead of basically what I've been doing is I was doing towards the back end of the Midlands prep, I was doing Stairmaster. And like I said, it fatigued my quads a lot. And then between the Midlands and the UK DFBA, I did, for 3 weeks, I did the recumbent bike. And I was doing 40 minutes of that 4 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week. So most days, it was basically every day apart from 2 leg days. So it was 5 times a week.
Right, okay.
And then combined with that, I'd do 15 to 17,000 steps. And now all I'm doing is 2 power walks, which they're both about, well, they should be if I achieve the right intensity. Last night I got a fucking ginormous PB because I watched some Olympic power walking and I got a new technique. Guys, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. If you're on video, this is exactly how we do it. It's all in the hips.
We're doing it together, and me and AJ are dancing now.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna ask you in a bit about your fucking stepper that you got as well. It looks hella weird.
Oh,
I got a huge PB last night. So yeah, under 45 minutes they should be, but they're about 45 minutes. They're about 4.5 kilometers long. So I do 2 of them a day, but they count towards my step total as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
So they're not on top of my steps. I'm not doing 2 45-minute walks and 20,000 steps a day. Fuck that.
Exactly. I was going to say you're going to be the next bikini girl on stage like that.
Fucking emaciated.
Yeah, totally.
Actually, if you work it out over the course of the week, I'm actually doing more intense calorie burning across the day.
Yeah.
But I'm actually doing a little bit less overall expenditure. Because my steps were like 16, 17k alongside doing CV. And now I'm doing no CV. I'm doing 2 power walks, which are about, they're wicked because they're about sort of 6,000 steps each. So it gets me 12k in the bag quite easily. And then what I find is that I tend to accumulate about 6,000, 7,000 just by doing just general shit and then walking around the gym. So I don't actually need to do anything on top of those walks, and I've pretty much nailed it, which is wicked.
Definitely.
I actually feel like now I'm doing less, when in reality I'm probably maintaining, if not doing a little bit more. And obviously from a bodyweight perspective, my bodyweight throughout peak week dropped. So I actually had a scale weight drop throughout the peak week, even despite being fuller on the day. It's just weird, like body, don't know how that works, but it was a great look on the UK DFBA show day. I was very happy with that, just to cover that. And my body weight hit a new low on the show day itself, 148.8. I think that's primarily down, Vicky, to food volume, because I consume a lot of veg, and on peaking like one day out and show day I won't consume any veg at all. And it would generally be a very low fiber diet on that day. So I think that's it, and that's realistically it in terms of why I always weigh in light. So I need to really ignore show day weights. So I just bear attention to them, but realistically ignore them because they're a bit of an anomaly. So that was actually a successful week of fat loss. So I managed to sort of get, I think, 0.7 off on average that week, maybe a pound.
Nice, that's good.
So that was good. And then this week we're looking at already about, I think, 0.5 off.
Brilliant.
And the setup at the moment for people that are interested, just to cover that as a final thing, is 4 low days. So Sunday through to Wednesday are low. The macros on that is 230 carb, 35 fat, 165 protein. So like I said, it's just above a gram per pound of protein, which people will probably be intrigued with, but we'll see how I retain muscle. Because I'm not dropping any lifts at the moment. Training's going superb. Recovering really, really well. Not like discovering that I get any more sore or anything like that. Like just everything's going really, really well from a training perspective, which is great. Which is very interesting because post-show after the Midlands, I was fucked. And that was a shit week of training. This week, not fucked at all, despite driving for longer and posing in 2 classes and an overall. I was fine. I think my endurance with posing is just way better, Vicky.
I think that's good. I think it also might have something to do with the fact that you had a little bit of a diet break, which obviously resulted in fat loss.
Yeah, maybe.
But you still had a diet break.
Yeah.
So, whereas obviously at this point, back in the Midlands, you didn't have any kind of diet break.
You mean like a backload of peaking as opposed to just a one refeed, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but then again, after the Midlands, I did have a full diet break, immediately.
Yeah, but you lost weight in that point.
Yeah, true, I guess, yeah. The main thing in the Midlands was a huge issue with my quads cramping, and I couldn't actually flex them. No issues at all at the UK DFBA. None.
Okay.
So I sorted that, and I think that was a sodium issue. I think the loading of sodium pre-stage just doesn't work with me. So I just kept salting my usual meals as I normally would. No issues. So I think, if anything, guys and girls, if your coach, says, because sometimes I do include it in client protocols, if your coach says salt pre-stage, like a big heavy hit, and low sodium up until that point, make sure you try it and do some posing before you sort of hit the stage, because it could cause some horrible cramping, and it really is painful, and it really puts you off your posing. So yeah, I think that's important to note. So that was a good week of fat loss, and yeah, like I said, this week already 0.5 down. The goal now, and the high days, by the way, are 450 carb, or 450 to 500, depending on what I look like and what I weigh. Mainly what I look like, because that's the main goal. So that's the main goal at the moment, is literally what I look like. And I already think that this week, like feeling down the side of my legs, feeling in my hamstrings, looking at the pictures, looking at my glutes a little bit, like I already feel leaner. So 0.5 drop this week. If I do another 0.5 next week, another 0.5 the week after that, I reckon the glutes are going to be very, very close to being like naughty looking, because they're
naughty
close.
Ass. We like naughty asses.
They're close. It's like the bottom portion of them starting to get a little bit more striated. The top where you can't see, and you said this to me as well, like, so I've sent you full on naked glute images. So the top where you can't see is actually striated. They're striated from the side, but they're not top to toe Jack Thorburn style yet. Which the goal is not to achieve that. That's not the goal. Like that, I'm not chasing striated glutes, because if I did, I could wither away the rest of my physique. The goal is to very slowly lose body weight and lose body fat in images over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. From there, I think fat loss will be done by the BNBF Finals. I think I will be done with fat loss, and the goal from moving forward from there will be a very slow tapering up of calories. And namely, well, the first thing I'll do, because I'm kind of okay with where my calories are at and the high-low day approach, the first thing I'll do is start actually just tapering off the cardio and start tapering back on the steps, because as much as 20,000 steps is feasible, it's a bit of a fucking pain in the arse going for 2 45-minute walks a day. If I can reduce them down to initially 2 35-minute walks or 2 30-minute walks, that'll actually be nice. And it will probably allow my quads to fill out again a bit more, because I do think that hammering away at the pavements does definitely wither away at your lower body a little bit.
Sure.
So you just got to be careful as to how much you're hammering it. So yeah, anyway, not to make my end of the story not too long, but that's where I'm at, and I think we've pretty much round things up. We'll let you smothering your chippies and me smothering my chippies as well. I think we're both hungry at this point. So
absolutely.
One last thing, Vicky. Let me just check my Instagram just to see whether I've got. I don't know whether I did or not. Get any questions? I don't think I did.
How rude.
Okay, there is one from Pure.Dedication. Okay, this is Nicholas. He asks, how long until you are both getting back on stage after this season? So, quick fire question. What's the plan after this season for you?
Well, after this season, to be perfectly honest, I'm going to see how I recover, because I had to take a year out in 2016 due to some injuries. I blew my subscap muscle first of all, which is just underneath your shoulder blade, and that was ridiculously painful. Okay. And then obviously with this one, I've had issues with my glute and my hamstring, which I'm still on recovery for. I think as a natural, especially as a natural woman, I'd probably like to take another year out to get some good muscular gains on the go, because of the simple fact that we can't just, grow muscles overnight. Unfortunately, it took me 2 years to put on a good amount of muscle and then obviously retain it a lot better by getting my nutrition. In fact, so I think now that my mindset and my approach to off season has changed a lot, I'd still like to make that progress with a year out. That's my initial thought as well. And plus I want to get my powerlifting back up to stretch. I haven't been able to deadlift in such a long time because of this glute. So I want to get that strength back before I kind of commit myself to absolutely anything. But yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah.
Having a year out. What about you?
Well, we've definitely got to have at least a year out, because we've got to enjoy some eateries. And some epic off-season sessions. So, and by the way, guys, we will certainly keep these updates coming into our off-season, and you can watch our faces dramatically change by the week.
I noticed that as well. On my podcast, on the Don't Fear the Weight one, I've got the thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah.
If you scroll backwards, it's literally like I'm reverse dieting. Just in my face, I just start to go, I've got like proper hamster cheeks on the go. It's quite funny. Yeah. And then obviously do it in reverse order, and then I just start to, slowly bring in the strong jawline, and that's hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, definitely keep these updates going. I've had a few people actually ask if we're going to do them on off season. So yes, the answer is yes, we will do. Yeah,
cool. It is really important to cover that bit, I think. People will relate a lot to it and gain even more traction, I reckon. So, my side of things, in terms of taking years out, I will be most likely taking 2 to 3 years out. Reason being is I'll be going up from a junior to a middleweight. Now, for me, the long-term goal is my long-term goal is to be a WNBF pro. Reason being is because at the moment, like, whilst I absolutely see DFAC and the BNBF as like a superb federation, I think like where I realistically want to compete, I think at the moment, and the opportunities that are arising within WNBF and competing at the WNBF Worlds, which, like Brian Whitaker competes at and Nunes competes at, that's realistically what I want to achieve. And the way to do that is obviously to go through the UK DFBA, and not to say that I won't compete in the BNBF, because I definitely will as a middleweight, but it will be coming back in the UK DFBA and the BNBF as a middleweight, and the caliber of that is extremely high. And what made me very happy was at the weekend in the UK DFBA lightweights, I was very hotly contesting for actually just winning that class. Yeah. And the guy that came third, Vicky, is actually he's already competed at a WNBF Worlds. He got invited as a bantamweight in 2015.
Wow.
That class was very, very good. And also there was a guy who didn't actually place in the top 3 as a lightweight at the UK DFBA that had been with the BNBF to the Miami World Finals before. He was just a little bit off on the day, but you could tell backstage the guy has so much density. If he was a little bit tighter, he probably would have had me. But he there was some really fucking good guys in that class. The reason why I can't come back as a lightweight next year is because I won't be able to make it. I I was with my hoodie off. I'd have obviously on the day I could have taken my shorts off, etc. But I was 69.8. And the cut-off in the UKDFBA for lightweight 70.
70, yeah.
Yeah, I was scared I wasn't going to make it. I actually tapered my water just a slight bit on the morning of, just so I could get in, because I knew that I'd have way more of a chance in the lightweights, and I knew that drinking a little bit less water wouldn't affect me. It didn't. And I was glad that I did that, because I wouldn't. I don't think I would have done as well in the middleweights as I did in the lightweights, because Ryan Howell's won, and he's really, really good at the moment. He's coming in better and better.
Sure.
As is Peter Macy. I think he's getting better and better show by show. But yeah, that would be the goal. 2 to 3 years. Come back as a middleweight and go for a British title, and then see what sort of heavyweight I meet in the overall.
Nice.
If it's anything like Sam Watt, I think I'll have to take about 8 years and 15 years out.
Innit?
So it's very difficult, guys. Very difficult to achieve the goals that I'm setting, and I'm sure that the goals that Vicky is setting as well, they're equally as high. And the reason why we set high goals is because, we care a lot about this sport, and we want to invest our time. We invest a lot of time into this, and we care a lot about not only like personal improvement, but also the achievement of an end goal. So yeah, that covers that question really, really nicely. Good question from Nicholas, so thanks, man. Cool, we'll wrap things up there then, Vicky, and thanks guys again for listening. Of course, if you're listening, please screenshot, tag us in it, give us your feedback, and we'll see you for the next one. Cheers, Vicky.
See you later.
Awesome, bye.
Bye.